Infinite combos in MTG. Welcome, everyone. I'm MTG Watchdog, and they've existed almost since the very beginning of the game. And honestly, I've got mixed feelings about them. Now, before anybody jumps straight to the comments, I'm not saying that combo players are bad. Some of the deck building behind Infinite Loops is actually really impressive. But I do think there's a real conversation to be had about whether infinite loops were ever truly intended, or whether players simply found loopholes in a rule-driven system. So, because of one of the earliest documented infinite loops came from the original era of Magic. The combo used Time Vault, Animate Artifact, and Instill Energy. Here's how it worked. Time Vault could tap for an extra turn, but normally it was difficult to untap. Animate Artifact turned it into a creature. Then, Instill Energy allowed you to untap that creature once every turn for free. So players realized you could untap the Time Vault, tap it for another extra turn, repeat forever, and effectively lock the opponent out of the game entirely, right? That was near the start of Magic, which raises a huge question. Was Magic designed for infinite loops in mind? Or did players discover ways to bend the rules beyond what the game originally intended? Because if you really think about it, the entire structure of Magic is built around limits. Mana limits, combat limits, card draw limits, tempo limits. Those walls are what create tension and strategy. You tap lands because resources are supposed to matter. You attack carefully because combat decisions matter. You manage your hand because choices matter. Infinite loops erase a lot of that friction. Sometimes a 40-minute tactical game suddenly becomes, oh, I drew the second card. Game over. And that is part of what I personally struggle with. Because some of the best MTG games that I've ever played had nothing to do with infinite damage or endless turns. They came down to top-built decks, combat math, resource management, bluffing, or finding a way out of a losing position through actual gameplay. That brutal honesty of the deck. Now, to be fair, there are arguments in favor of combos. I love combos. Some players love the puzzle aspect of building engines. I like building engines. Some combos prevent games from stalling forever. And yes, assembling Magic cards together does take skill. But I also think there's a difference between building synergy and completely bypassing interaction altogether, where watching an infinite loop becomes less of a strategy game and more of a waiting simulator, really. At the end of the day, this is one of the things that makes Magic fascinating after all of these years. Players are constantly pushing the game farther than the original designers probably imagined. So maybe infinite loops are part of Magic now. Or maybe they were never intended at all. And players simply found the cracks in a beautifully complicated system. And I'll leave that question to you. Are infinite combos a necessary part of Magic? Or a loophole in the rules that really changed the game forever? Thank y'all so much for joining us. Thanks to our subscribers. Thanks to everyone who has joined us in our journey so far. This is MTG Watchdog and family. We are out. Peace, y'all.